Good evening. It's very late in Japan again, and this is Hannah. There has been a lot of news, but I will be discussing not yesterday. I had discussion with Nia Korbani, the Iranian man in Britain who was detained by the police. I got some comments about it actually, but I do really think that the current, well, as Niak says, Japan really has to consider the um, what they have to do with the nationality. Ultimately, whether Japan introduces dual national citizenship or not, or just go with single. But for now, I do not agree to the idea of dual citizenship, even though I wish to have one. And I would probably rather keep the Japanese citizenship for a while. But anyways, this is a crazy thing. The ICC, I don't know how many people read about, I thought over and over about why Prime Minister got arrest warrants. And it is not because of the war, obviously. So 20 hours ago, there was a statement. The State of Israel denies the authority of the International Criminal Court in The Hague and the legitimacy of the arrest warrants that have been issued against the Prime Minister and the former Defense Minister. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met today at the Prime Minister's office in Jerusalem with U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham, who updated him on the efforts that he is advancing in the U.S. Congress against the ICC and the countries that have cooperated with it. See, I think, I know that Japan has actually invested huge, massive money on ICC. And, in January, there will be Trump administration. And I'm very, very much looking forward to it. And also, the new ambassador to Israel, Huckabee. I think he is a very, very suitable person to become the ambassador to Israel. I don't know why, but I just feel really absent from Japanese people for many reasons. But okay. So there was a statement from the UNRWA director in Japan. His name is Akihiro Kyoto. He says that UNRWA provides humanitarian assistance and medical assistance to Gaza and Palestinian authorities. And he expressed concern. You know what? That's the expression that Asahi uses about the new laws saying UNRWA at the center of support. There is no other organization that can replace it. This is a blatant lie that he's telling the press. Well, he's the typical UN officer who doesn't think of anything seriously, take seriously. But you know what? They take donations, and we don't know how they use it, but they do. But crazy Japanese people, yeah, I will tell this. You know what? They stalk Israeli officials, and uh, once, no, not more than once. I just see so many comments after another. That's from the same person telling you, something like that. Like, you should get out of whatever. So, uh, anyways, as Dr. Gilad Noam points out, well, he's the Deputy Attorney General of Israel, that ICC, well, like Israel is out of the jurisdiction of ICC, but anyways, last Thursday, well, the ICC pre-trial chamber approved the prosecutor's request to issue arrest warrants against Israel Prime Minister and former Defense Minister without adjudicating Israel's arguments on lack of jurisdiction and despite clear violations by the prosecutor of the fundamental principle of the complementarity. I do not understand whether the prosecutor understands what he's saying, actually. But to be honest, well, Bibi's like arrest warrants against Bibi and defense minister is like a threat that mail not to stop UNRWA. Like, don't do it. Something like that. Well, I was listening to Niak's words, and well, he was talking about suicide bombing, and he was also talking about meeting the famous Francesca Albanese. Oh, she's an actress. Well, I think she should change the occupation, probably, like she thinks that there are mutant Hillel Noor, like maybe like 10 or 20 of them. So, I don't know why, but Japanese media basically is in support of, like Hizbullah and, like Resistance Act. And they think that they don't have state right, but they do have rights to resist. But I really do not believe any of those arguments are legitimate in the first place. And the only reason is that they invest to ICC. But you know what? I hate ICC because they want Japan. If Japan joins, then I would strongly resist against this statement by whatever, because it comes from the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And I'm not saying that I'm not sorry for the victims or casualties. And I've known people from Hiroshima, or I've known actually the third generation of the victims of the bombing. And see, like, it's like looking at the end of the World War II to me, like a disaster, because obviously, like, the ceasefire was very, very much advantageous for Israel. Israel was in very good position, but the problem is that those Hizbullah and Hamas do not stop. if they stop fighting and unconditionally surrender, the war would end tomorrow. But they do not do it. And I did not want to agitate people, but a lot of young soldiers, like 15, 16, 17-year-olds, they were not drinking, but they were given shot of like drugs so that they would not sleep for 7 or 8 hours flight, and the flight that's an only one-way flight to the United States, and there was no return flight to them. And they were young, and they were saying, let's meet in Yasukuni. I have been to actually the Yasukuni shrine, not as like an appeal that I support, or I do. I support nationalism or something, but I wanted to look at who were in the names. But you know what? Those people died in vain, really. And what I have been saying is that those Hizbullah, well, UNRWA, the reason why I think that UNRWA must be abolished is that they keep the cycle of violence over and over, because they teach children why they have to kill Jews and why they have to return the land, because they are the Palestinians. And what? The Palestinian Authority said what? Well, Israel lasted 3,000 years. We lasted 1.5 million years. Well, I don't know where that came from, but that's what they're saying. And another thing that I hate is that, not I hate, but I don't think that they are in the state to have statehood in the first place, because they cannot even investigate the rape cases against women and acknowledge what happened, as they are the crime nations. And if I say this, it's like, the Japanese would say, well, this is like the United States being too judgmental and we had too many casualties. Well, as I said, there are so many casualties of many wars in the U.S. And if you go to Arlington Cemetery, the first thing you see is the names of soldiers and officers who sacrificed themselves during World War II. I would like to actually introduce one person who make tops, wooden toys, but he passed away. He has friends like the late Katogo, the famous actor, and other people. Yak was talking about suicide bombing in the 70s. And actually, that's something that the Japanese suicide bombers taught to the Middle East terrorists. And how do you feel like looking at, innocent Israeli people die because of the suicide bombing method that Japan developed during World War II at the very end, in vain. And this tradition was brought all the way to the Middle East in the 70s in Lebanon, and the terrorists trained suicide bombing in Lebanon during 70s, and that's what that's what actually Niak was talking about. But he, I understand his standpoint, and he has a point. But as a religion, I would say that well, he says Islam is a problem, but coexistence is important, and I really well, if I talk about this kamikaze thing, well, kamikaze is the kamikaze people like who died at the very end of the war. They wanted to go to college. They wanted to study something. They wanted to be an engineer. They had other dreams, and they had to give up everything because it was the order of the nation. They were, it's like, see, one person against 1 million. What do you think? Do you think that you have to die for the country for that reason? It's very irrational. And in the end, see, John Spencer mentions war is the contest of the war is a contest of will. And in the end, MacArthur lost against Japan 4 times. But well, in general, I would say Americans have very rational mind, and also I've heard MacArthur's translator statements and other statements by MacArthur. I have also visited Camp Zama before. I would say that the Japanese media is directing obviously the audience to the wrong direction. That well, one thing is that they say that Palestinian Authority is protecting the Palestinians, and they don't even define the Palestinians correctly. Well, they don't even tell that the land used to be called Palestine, and they say this is an endless conflict. Well, it's an endless conflict, but you know what? If this cycle of war continues, there is no good to the region at all. And I think that I heard Ms. Ruth Westerman-Land say that she was talking about UNCRA is like it's a Korean refugee agencies, and after Korean war, this refugee agency was created for the Koreans who were displaced during the war, and this ended in 3 years. How many years is it taking for UNRWA to settle everyone? They're not solving any problems. And they are teaching the right of return. And Japanese media love to demonize Bibi. Well, they do all the time, as always, like ultra right wing, blah blah blah. They like to say it, but I think that it's terrible. I don't, well, Israel will win, and Iran is collapsing. And I do not blame Iranian people because of the regime, for the same reason as I do not blame North Korean people because of the regime. See, I do not like to blame people because of the regime, the dictatorship. And under dictatorship, people are oppressed, and it's hard for those people to secure free speech. And that's one of the reasons why I never discuss Iranian people on my podcast, except that I just had a casual talk with Nyak because he accepted it. He was like, when I asked him, he was like, "What was it?" He forgot about it, but whatever. He was very nice to me, and I really appreciate it. And so, but it's not. I don't know whether Akihiro Kyoto understands what those children are speaking in Arabic, or maybe he has a translator from UNRWA, and he's translating in a total different language, meaning in a different context, and he's made to believe that UNRWA is in trouble now because Israel is oppressing the Palestinian Authority. Well, then I would like to ask, like, how many times did the Palestinian Authority send condolences to the Israeli victims, and how many times did they admit that their people commit war crimes, crimes against humanity, rapes, burning people, burning babies alive, beheading babies? How come they can do it? And what? The Palestinian Authority say the Israelis are lying? This is not a state. I'm sorry, but Japan, see, when I hear this, it's like thinking of Japan. Well, at the end of in the end, Japan admitted at least better than these people. And I hope that Japan is better than these people, because it's terrible that if they just if Japan supports ICC in the first place regarding Bibi Natanyahu and General Gallant, like, how come? See, they need to understand their position, and I hope they do. I really hope that, I hope that this problem is solved in the first place. But, well, see, probably, Yak never told me his age, but, like, he is probably from the same generation as I am. And I have written some biased comments on posts on X in the past, when it was Twitter, as if I were Islamophobic. Well, I use the term Islamophobic sometimes. Well, it was not because I thought that the religion should be banned, but it is in a dangerous state right now in the West. And Japan, like, I used to live in Tokyo before, and now it's totally different. I don't know what happened to the area, but there are various foreign towns, a lot of people selling drugs on street, like in Shibuya, right? it's a devastating situation. It's see, and if Japan really, I really believe that Japan should never accept the decision of ICC and support it, especially considering the new president, with who is going to be the real president in January next year. And I'm really hopeful for him because his son-in-law is Jewish, and well, he loves Israel, and I am very pleased that again, well, President-elect Trump is elected to because obviously the first term of his presidency, he had much better policies on the Middle East. Well, he doesn't talk like politicians, like he makes deals, like he likes to use the word, but we have to think seriously, like how to stop the war before talking about peace. Like, I think the term peace is too much abused in a sense because, like, they don't understand the meaning and they use it. But see, like Israeli people are not. Well, I'm talking in this manner because I just cannot understand some Japanese people talking Israeli officials. They should stop it. It's embarrassing. It's really embarrassing to do it, really. But lawyers have legitimate authority to investigate through thorough steps. But I do not even trust lawyers at some point. But you know what? Well, supporting ICC means that Japan supports those resistance called Hizbullah, Hamas, and ultimately allowing Iran to do whatever. As Japan invited foreign minister, he died in a plane crash, but this year, after October 7th, that Israelis are killing Palestinians and Japan has to help Palestinians. This is what Israeli foreign minister said, and what the Japanese media said was that he was a reformer. Okay? This is a problem for Iranian people. Iranians were not like that until 1979. When Shah was in position, it was a totally different country. Shah accepted a lot of Pahlavi's father accepted a lot of Jewish people from Iraq, Syria, and in the Middle East. And I know at least one person whose origin is from Syria and Iraq. And, well, he is in the U.S., but you know what? There are a lot of people from various Jewish background. And the Japanese people do not see, it's an island country, Japan. And I don't think that Japanese people probably do not seem to understand the state of losing the land and how much it is important for people to understand, how much it's important for people to have their own land, to secure the land. And I don't think Jewish people going crazy about keeping Israel is not crazy, because Japanese people is going crazy to keep Japan. The same thing. Well, and there's this crazy China, and also Russia is saying something today. It's I hope that well, for American people, it's 4th of November. Not 4th Thursday of November. It's Thanksgiving. And I hope that people have joyous Thanksgiving with families or friends, relatives, fun gatherings in the United States. And I sent messages to my friends as well. But anyways, I hope that the terrorists understand that the suicide bombings don't work in the end, but they will do. It's sad, but they will do, and they have to stop it. So, that's about it, and I hope that you have a good day, and I'm going to sleep. So, have a good day, and good night.